You're unlisted?
Maybe.
You didn't. You never saved it as.
It's confusing because there's still so many people in chat, but yep, it's unlisted. Okay.
Well, the link is there on my half, so they can still go to it there.
Yeah, if no one was in the chat, it'd be very obvious.
I did not pee for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a long pee, man. You're usually a lot quicker.
Not true. That's not true.
Stop penning those beers.
Just trying to.
Bladder can't keep up.
If I got on my hands, I had to make sure I washed thoroughly.
Your breath are very weak.
Okay.
Okay.
We're live.
We're live to both. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Awesome Hardware, episode 146, Side B. If you missed Side A, go to Paul's channel. It's Paul's Hardware, youtube.com/Paul's Hardware, or you can find the link in the video description of my YouTube channel, my YouTube video. This is a live tech news show that we stream every single Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time right here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware, or to our respective YouTube channels, obviously. Today, the second half is on my channel, and it's a fun tech news show. We like to have a good time, have a few drinks. If you are of legal drinking age in your country, feel free to drink responsibly with us. It's a good time, it makes us more interesting, and you can also check out, what was the other thing? Oh, quick disclaimer. We occasionally will swear when the energy is heightened and we get excited about certain things. So if you're particularly sensitive to that, just be aware that this is a PG-13 type show. Sometimes rated R, but never rated X, because YouTube doesn't allow that.
It's supposed to be swapped, but it's not swapped properly.
What?
That's fine.
Was it like that on your half?
On my half, it said you were awesome hardware. Or it said you were awesome sauce news.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
I used the really old one.
That's weird, because we saved that same profile.
Chat just put it. It's fine.
Anyway. The show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to buy anything from either of our stores, Paul's store is, what is it?
This is your store.
Okay, my store is bitwit.tech/store.
Bitwit.tech.
The new CPU cooler bottle openers are for sale.
That.
They open bottles very easily.
It's a very responsive website.
Quickly. Yep. Our internet's weird right now. Hopefully that doesn't affect the stream. Also, the RIP gamepad shirt is in stock now. It's a brand new design.
My store is paulshardware.net.
paulshardware.net.
My metallic silver men's black tri-blend shirt is going to be end of life soon, so get them while they're hot.
Hell yeah.
And if you buy stuff during the show, we'll shout out your name at the end of this half.
Johnson! And we'll give you a Johnson.
We express our gratefulness to you.
We'll wave our Johnson at you.
Yep.
Holy crap, I usually save these for the end, but thank you very much, Abstract for the $100 donation. Guys.
It's a great comment, too. We'll save the comment for the
We'll save the comment for later, but if you continue donating, we'll read all the messages you attach to those donations at the end of this half of the show. So thank you very much in advance. Keep giving us money. All right. Our first segment for today is to fund or not to fund. We're taking a look at 3 crowdfunded campaign products. Things. Who knows what they are? The first one is the Lumo. It's a mini transporter, which is kind of like a robot sidekick, according to the post here. They've already funded nearly $1 million out of their $100,000 goal. So people clearly have an interest in this self-balancing transporter that features AI with Intel's RealSense technology. It features auto-follow, video capture, touch, voice, and gesture control, so you could use it for like video conferences. Oh, I'm sick, I can't make it to the meeting, but I can send my weird little Segway robot minion out for me, and then I can hear and see everything that it sees, and then respond. This is like a dude that's pretending to be a robot too. It's very cute. And it's got a playful personality. This is like a smart robot. You could ride it too, so it doesn't just follow you. You could actually like hop on top of it and get around that way if you're a lazy asshole at some convention, like CES or whatever. It's only $1,400. $1,400.
I want 3.
Yeah, I think I need a little army of them just to do my bidding. Get me groceries, Lumo. Entertain my friends, Lumo. Make me money, Lumo.
Take a selfie, Lumo, right?
Take a selfie, because I can't just use my arm. That would be too much work.
Oh, look, he loves. Look, there's a little love thing, too.
Oh, he's cute. And then you can make them hold a tray and then put flyers on it and be like, "Hey, Lumo, hand out these flyers to random strangers that won't certainly steal you and try to sell you for thousands of dollars."
$1,200 piece of portable technology.
Yeah, just go out and have fun.
Wander on your own.
Like, I'd rather send my kid out there, you know, because kids, you can just make a new one.
Okay, so
Nothing bad happens. So there's Lumo. Next up, we've got the Kira mechanical keyboard.
All right.
This already has $280,000 funded of its $50,000 goal. This is a compact keyboard, but it also does have a keypad, 10-key number pad, which is pretty impressive for how slim this thing looks. At first glance, it's fully programmable via the hardware. We've seen a lot of like Cooler Master does this. They have programmable keys that's all hardware based. You can just create macros on the fly with the keys themselves. I think that's pretty cool. However, it's still open source, so you know if you want to like put some programming here on GitHub that supports a software version of programmable interfaces with this keyboard, you could easily do that. It has per key RGB lighting, obviously. One thing that surprised me is that it's using a USB Type-C port for its power and data. So that's
good.
That's good, and it's something that I feel like should be adopted more often with these mechanical type keyboards that have detachable cables. It also features PBT sublimated keycaps, in-house Heiko switches. This is something that's made in-house by the company that makes this keyboard. I've never heard of Heiko switches before. They do look like they have some Cherry MX keycap stems where it's got the little T stem where you could replace it with your own Cherry MX keycaps if you wanted to. But I have no idea how the Heiko switches perform and feel. According to them, they're good. Obviously, they would say that. And this is retailing, or you can get a Kickstarter early access for $169, which
they're deliciously tactile.
Deliciously tactile is the adjective used.
Okay.
Sure, why not? So $170 for this keyboard, which is pretty much on the highest end of pricing that you can find with mechanical keyboards right now. So it is fairly steep.
That's expensive.
Yeah, it is very pricey. Next and finally, we have the Diggs Revol dog crate. And I only choose dog products for to fund or not to fund because I know Paul has dogs.
I have dogs.
And so I like to choose these dog products, these dog related or dog owner targeted products to see what Paul thinks of them because I cannot relate. I only have cats and they destroy everything I love. So I would never invest any sort of money into them. But Paul might, into his loving dogs. They're adorable and cute.
I do that sometimes.
So, and there's clearly demand for this to some degree. It's already funded $46,000 of its $30,000 goal. This is essentially a dog crate that is collapsible. You can take it anywhere. It can fold down to a fairly small size. You can put it in your trunk easily, even into your front seat. It's fairly attractive compared to the sort of wireframe cages that we typically see that kind of makes it look like your dog's just kind of suffering in a jail cell like that. They do a really good job here in the promo ad, just making it look like the dog's having a terrible time in a conventional dog carrier. It's safe, you know, there's no risk of your dog getting its paw or its head or tail stuck into it. So this is just essentially how it works. It folds up like so, pops it up, and there you go. Your dog can fit in it and be happy and look good. There's a tray for poops, I would imagine, or whatever kind of shit that your dog brings in. That dog's pretty fucking happy to be there.
Tinkles.
You know, it's good for tinkling. Look at it. He just walks in like, I want to be caged. Fuck yeah. If it's like this all day, I'm down. So it's the Diggs.
You got a memory foam mattress in there.
Yeah, fuck. I don't even get that at home, you know. So this dog's living La Vida Loca, chilling like a boss in this revolutionary dog carrier. What do you think, Paul? $57 about this product.
$57?
Yeah.
All right, that's not bad.
I was expecting more.
It seems like it's more suited for smaller dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like based on the video, at least, I have two dogs. Nori's about 40 pounds. Hero's more like 100 pounds.
Yeah, no way Hero could fit in that.
Hero, no way. Nori, I think, would also be
a little tight.
A little tight in here. So.
Yeah. If they had a larger version of it, though, could you see yourself? You know. Here's my question: do you ever
possibly like
do you ever have
collapse, a need? The collapse size here is not that collapsed, right? It's still fairly thick.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's definitely not getting down to as small of a footprint as the crappy cages they show earlier in the thing.
Right. But it definitely looks like you could more easily fit it in a trunk at the very least.
Possibly.
Because I don't think that like a full-size cage could ever fit in a trunk, realistically. But at least this could fit in your trunk. But, you know, and because you have big dogs, they already take up a lot of space once you put them in the car, right? So having a cage and your dog in the car in the back seat, for example, might be a little stuffy. But
oh, you were actually mistaken. It's $57 for the pad.
Just for the pad?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Snooze Crate pad.
So it's $135.
Small size.
$135 then.
$135
for the crate.
For the crate.
For the small crate.
$156 for the crate and the pad combo pack. That's all for small size.
Because I know you have a dog cage at home, but do you ever need to take it out of the house?
Not really.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, isn't a dog cage mainly for home use? So the fact that it's portable and can collapse is kind of a moot point.
Yeah.
Unless you have any other... Are there any other applications of when you would need to bring it out of the house?
But then again, when you have a small dog, there's more small places where the small dog could go and escape to and stuff like that. So maybe if you have a smaller dog, you're more likely to be bringing around a portable cage. I don't know. I have medium and large size dogs, so
yeah,
it's hard to say for sure.
Okay. Well, what about the keyboard and the robot sidekick that we took a look at? Do either of those stand out to you as something that you would buy personally?
The keyboard seems like it's a keyboard, and there's lots of different keyboards, and lots of people are very specific about the keyboards they want. There wasn't anything that stood out about that keyboard that made me like, wow, that's so much different than lots of other keyboards I've seen. So I guess the robot, just because it seemed very different.
Yeah.
Lumo.
What would you do with it if you could send it out and do your bidding? What would you have it do for you?
For me personally, like when I do videos, like if I go and do a video when I'm walking out and about and whatever, this could actually follow me around to get just tracking shots of me going different places. That could be pretty useful for me.
Kind of like a drone with the auto follow feature that, you know, but it wouldn't like kill you from its blades, just like stabbing you in the eye.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit more practical.
And you can hop on and ride it around too, right?
That's true.
Super.
Can get you from A to B.
Super convenient.
If you did that with a drone, you would just end up breaking it if you stepped on it. So, okay, cool. I think I'm with you on there.
Good.
So, cool. That's that segment. Let's move on. Pin my PC.
Pin my PC.
Brett. Oh, Brett. Oh, Brett.
You
and your system. No, it's actually not that bad. With a Core i5 7600K
there it is.
at 4.8 gigahertz. You have a Hyper 212X in here, an ASRock Fatality K6 motherboard, 16 gigs, 2x8 gig sticks of DDR4 2666 Corsair memory, SanDisk SSD 240 gig with a GTX 1050 Ti 4 gigabyte card, and that's all inside of an NZXT S340 Elite. Okay. Looks like you're going with the black and red theme, which is great because, quite frankly, your graphics card will allow nothing else. Thanks, MSI, for locking users into a black and red color scheme. Even your cable management looks pretty solid. It looks like your VGA cables could be improved a bit because they're sort of, you know, split off, and it looks like one connector is just kind of dangling there. So my suggestion would be, like many others, is to get a kit of extensions. Some sleeved extensions would do you some favors here, especially in a nice case like this where the cable management is pretty solid.
What's the bug? What is this bug?
A bug. Oh yeah, there is a massive bug or critter inside of your case that is most likely impeding heavy airflow. So you'll need to eradicate, or you'll need to remove that bug, quarantine it as soon as possible. Your temperatures depend on it. Okay? Thermal sustainability
there it is.
Is at risk. Get rid of that bug.
It's glowing blue, like it's absorbed some of the power of the computer.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna like defecate all over your SSD there before you know it. So make sure you quarantine that shit. Run malware bytes to get rid of any bugs that might settle into your system, and you should be smooth sailing. Other than that, man, your system looks pretty good. I like the red LED fans at the front. I will say an amendment, sort of an addendum to the clear fan blade thing. Because, Paul and I hate on clear fans.
We've been doing
clear LED fans for a while. I think in a more budget-oriented system like this one, they're more tolerable because they allow some illumination inside of your case without having to buy a straight-up LED strip or LED system. So if you wanted to, you can actually match those fans with the back. Your rear fan and your top fan could also be the same exact fans that you have at the front of your case. I think that would look pretty good. Maybe even slap one of those onto your Hyper 212X. And that would look pretty sweet. Everything would be very matchy-matchy.
That would be nice.
Other than that, very clean system. Well done, sir.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett. Next we have Paul. I thought I told you not to submit on Pimp My PC.
No, this is a different Paul.
Oh, well, in that case, let's welcome him to the Pimp My PC group here. We have an i7 8700K on top of a Gigabyte Z370 XP SLI, two 8GB Corsair Vengeance LPX 2400 sticks, NZXT Kraken X52, a Gigabyte GeForce GTX 1080 WindForce, and a Thermaltake Tough Power 750 Gold Samsung Evo 250GB SSD, and so forth. So this is a build that when I look at it, first off from the outside with the tempered glass side panel on there, looks beautiful. I love the Overwatch decal. I think it really adds some personality.
Yeah.
And then and looking inside,
it's well centered too. Putting a decal like that in the middle of a big blank tempered glass or plexi side panel.
It's well done. Looks tasteful.
Yeah, looks
it's not
pretty well
tacky.
centered.
Doesn't look too amateur. And then we also have a nice internal layout here. Everything's super clean. Cable management's on point. If you wanted to pimp out your PC, as is what this segment's all about, I would definitely suggest, like the last user, investing in some cable extensions. Definitely would help you out here. Even though these black ones aren't too bad, they're still sort of that rubbery material with the rubber casing, the wire casing, and they don't look all that great. There's a lot of potential with this system. I feel like everything's good to go. You do have a motherboard that has a rather brownish PCB. There's not much you can do about that. But at the very least, you can maybe swap out those case fans for something a little bit more stylish if you wanted to bring some bling to your rig overall. Maybe get some RGB fans in there to match. I mean, after all, you do have a Kraken X52, or is that X54? Sorry, X52 in there. 52. Sorry, that already has RGB lighting on it. If you wanted to just sort of take that up a notch, you could invest in some RGB fans. But other than that,
so I want to say
looks good.
There's a little. I feel like these the X52 has several cables coming out the top of it. I feel like those could be tidied up just a little bit there. And the red caps on the PCI Express power cables are standing out to me a bit here. They're not too bad since they're kind of the main accent color besides black and white.
Right.
But since there's a daisy chain, this extra bit stands out a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
So a cable extension, or you can also replace those caps as a project too. Either of those I think would finish things off.
Yeah.
Nice build though.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Paul. Next up we have
Alan W.
Alan.
Project Purple Scorpio has an i7 6700K, a Strix 1066 gig, 16 gigs of Trident Z RGB 2400 speed memory, and EVGA 550 G2
Upgrade your card.
Killer Z270 AC. What is that? Is it Killer? Wait, what? What's the killer?
Motherboard.
Oh, the ASRock.
Yeah.
Fatality Killer? Or ASRock Killer? Okay, yeah. Anyway, Z270 motherboard.
Yeah, maybe he meant ASRock.
Yeah, it took me a second there. Okay, A couple ML120 blue fans, a couple ML140 blue fans, a CryoBrig air cooler, an 850 Evo 250, a 960 Evo 500 gig, and a Femtex N2 Evolve modded.
The mod is pretty sweet. I want to just draw
So-
attention to the mod really quick, the front
Oh,
panel.
the front panel there. Okay.
Because this case is known to suffer from airflow because of its closed-off front panel, so this
Yeah.
obviously helps things a bit. I'd be very curious to see what kind of temp drops you receive from that mod. Looks really nice, though.
Pretty straightforward rectangular cutout here with a dust filter.
Yeah,
So
Some mesh.
it's a nice mod.
it is.
Functional. I like the Scorpion graphic on the SSD in a very nice location there. I think the cables are looking great there as well. Cabling here for your 24 pin, your supplemental, your 8 pin for CPU and graphics card, and the SSD there, all looking really nice.
And you get bonus points in my book for having hotline colors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well done. Well played.
Appreciate the reversed shot of the cable management. That's looking quite clean as well.
GPU sag, though.
GPU sag is really the standout here to
Yeah.
me. And there's various ways of combating this. You can get a stand that sits from the bottom, just above the power supply tray. There's brackets that attach to the other graphics card mounting points here for PCI and PCI Express expansion slots. That could also work out for you. Yeah, that and I guess maybe the power supply.
Yeah, power supply
Sticker.
sticker. Yeah,
The yellow on that doesn't match quite as well with the rest of the system, so maybe that
clean that up.
could also be heat gunned off or something like that. But
Overall, very nice, though.
those are minor issues.
Yeah.
You have a really clean, really nice looking system.
Thanks, Alan.
All right.
Next
Nate,
up, we have Nate.
it's Super Panda.
Nate Dog. All right, so he's got a Riotoro CR1280 case, an MSI 970 gaming motherboard, an AMD FX 6200 at 4.1 gigahertz, being cooled by a Corsair H115 or H115i, 4x4 gigs of Crucial DDR3, and an XFX R9 390. Okay. There's a bit of color clash here. You've got red LED fans, blue memory, ketchup and mustard cables with some yellow in there. So, at the same time, since you have a AMD FX 6200, I'm not going to tell you to spend much money on this platform, but rather upgrade it entirely to maybe a Ryzen platform or a budget-oriented Intel platform, because yeah, it's really not worth spending too much more money on this exact system. I think the case is still workable. If you went with like a budget Ryzen build, you could easily maintain this case because it can support that 240 rad, or is that a 280 rad? It's a 280 rad if it's an H115.
Yeah, it is 280.
So yeah, that's cool. Honestly, dude, like, I think if you wanted to upgrade to Ryzen, that's probably your best bet. I wouldn't even invest in like cable extensions unless you were first planning to spend your money on getting a better CPU and motherboard.
eBay heat sinks on the memory. I'm noticing here. That's
eBay heatsinks?
Yes, RAM 4x4 gigs, Crucial DDR3 at 1600 with eBay heat sinks.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Aftermarket heat sinks on the memory.
I've never
Is that a
heard of
thing?
that.
If you buy like a generic green PCB,
You can buy
cheapo
some-
memory, you can add some heat sinks on top of it.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with most of the stuff Kyle said. You're looking at don't spend any more money on this computer unless you're upgrading the core platform. New motherboard, new processor. You're gonna need to swap that DDR3 for some DDR4. Your R9 390 you could get a little bit more life out of, I'd say, if you're upgrading the core components first. You got what looks like a pretty solid Riotoro case here with plenty of space. You got a very nice liquid cooler,
Yeah.
which would be much better suited for a higher end CPU, I think.
Yeah.
And then of course, getting rid of the clear LED fans, we would also I think recommend as well. But
And I would point out, as far as cable management, the USB cable that's coming off of your water block, for your CPU is kind of distracting because
little
it's
guy.
sort of going underneath
Yeah.
your GPU. Maybe if you could route that up top where the other cables from that water blocker are going.
I was gonna
that
say
upward grommet.
you've got a weird twisty thing going on here with your with the
tubes.
tubing here. You might be able to spin that
Yeah.
180 degrees or something like that
Right.
too, just to give yourself a cleaner looking loop with that as well.
Yeah. Looks tense.
So yeah, but I mean, I don't think your cable extensions look too bad or anything like that. So
Oh, yeah, they're good.
stick with black and red.
Yeah.
Upgrade some of the components here, and yeah, maybe get a matching graphics card power connectors that go along with your CPU and motherboard.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Jelly Raw.
Jelly Rock.
Jelly Raw with a Ryzen 7 1700 ROG GTX 1080 Strix and an Asus X370 Prime inside of an Air 540 from Corsair.
Okay.
So it almost looks like we're dealing with the same issue here with the tubing on your AIO being a little twisted.
Looks twisted.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know if you can somehow turn it, rotate it, 360 degrees in one way or another that it would sort of even out.
What do you think? What's better, the clean loop of the tubing or the logo being right set up? What if you have to choose between the two? What do you go for?
Oh,
It's so hard.
man.
It's a hard choice.
It is a hard choice. I feel like I would choose the tubing,
Yeah.
to be honest. I would choose the tubing and have the logo upside down. Like,
I can agree with that.
I don't know. And I feel like there's maybe even easier ways to cover up the
Yeah.
logo than there is to mask the tubing twistiness.
Yep.
So, but it looks like overall some pretty good hardware layout here. I feel like cable management could be fixed up a little bit towards the bottom of the case with maybe what's your HD audio cable that kind of looks a little bit loose. Maybe tidy that up a bit. Obviously, custom extensions would do you a huge solid here, and it looks like some.
We absolutely have a computer off floor moment here. Computer off floor.
Yeah.
All right. So you got
Paul
the
rant
you
incoming.
you got the bare minimum. You've got at least a piece of wood, plywood, whatever, giving you some separation between the bare floor
It's not good enough.
and the PC, but you're still really low to the ground here, and I would definitely recommend raising this 10 to 15 inches up off the ground to keep yourself from accumulating too much dust too rapidly. Other than that, the cable management stuff Kyle mentioned, and you'll be good. Okay,
Thanks, Jelly.
thank you, Jelly.
Next up, last but not least, we have Matt with a Core
He
i5.
started off with please ignore the nasty PSU cables.
We will certainly not.
This is Pimp My PC.
We can't.
Yes.
It's impossible.
The whole point.
It's part of the
Okay.
show. Core i5 8600K, 16 gigs of Trident ZRGB, EVGA 970 superclock with an MSI Z370 Gaming Pro Carbon inside of a Fantex Enthoo Pro MSE. Great case. Wow. Jeez, those power supply cables, man. I mean, God, why wouldn't you just tell us to ignore those? They look terrible. Definitely get some extensions for that, or maybe just some full-blown cabling. CableMod does support that, as well as many other independent cable sleeving companies. Remove that power supply sticker, please. And cable management.
I feel like there's just a second look that could be done at cable management here. This gives me the vibe of like a system that was put together with kind of the vague idea of where everything should be connected up, and then everything was routed to where it should be and plugged in. But you could attack this again, especially looking at the rear panel. There's just a lot of loose cables hanging around that could be tied down a bit better.
Sure.
And I think that would clean things up a lot. I would say consider, if you're really going the aesthetic route, if you're gonna go as far as like removing the label on your power supply, maybe also consider removing the label on the SSD
Yeah.
that's facing out there. Just an all silver face on that would look pretty nice. And then just some simple black cable extensions. You don't even need to pay a lot for really
Yep.
nice ones or whatever for your GPU and motherboard. And yeah, you've got a real nice system. Everything is blending pretty nicely as far as the base hardware. Just a few extra touches, I think, there would clean things up nicely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with everything Paul said. Thank you very much, Matt. And that concludes it for Pimp My PC.
Yay.
Appreciate everyone sending in their submissions. There will be a chance to do that again next week, perhaps. Let's move on to our tech news, and we'll roll through this relatively quickly because we're pretty late here in the day. But first off, 4K Ultra HD monitors running at 144 hertz are upon us. They are moments away from being within our reach. It's very exciting. We've been waiting for these to actually hit store shelves for quite a while now.
Like 2 years.
2 years, right? And we've been waiting on DisplayPort 1.4 to deliver us this type of bandwidth and resolution. And finally, it's here according to Tech Power Up. Thank you for the article. These panels will be coming to us this summer. 2 notable monitors come to mind. The first ones to arrive will be the 2018 Acer Predator X27. Which is going to feature a 4K resolution at 144 hertz, of course, IPS, quantum dot G-Sync, HDR DCI-P3 color space with standards featuring 99% Adobe RGB on a 10-bit color display. Doesn't that sound nice, everyone? Doesn't that sound nice?
Does it come with these?
Cool little Grim Reaper hood may or may
shrouds.
not be included. I would imagine that it is.
Okay.
And if that doesn't tickle your fancy, there will be another monitor that has pretty much all the exact same specs that I just listed off in the form of an Asus Rog Swift Pg 27UQ. So again, you get all the same features I just rattled, and beautiful, beautiful little panel there. Before you get too excited, and this will kind of break all of us right now and make us cry a little, these panels are expected to retail for around $3,000 USD.
Ah,
That is a lot of money.
it's expensive.
If you thought, the average $1,200 to $1,500 price tag was asking a lot with the last generation of panels or the current generation, this is a lot of freaking money for a freaking display.
Yeah.
And imagine how much the ultra wides are going to be. These are just 16 by 9 panels. So, the X34 equivalent of, let's say, 4K by 2560 or something like that is going to be outrageously priced. I mean, they'll still sell to some degree. They won't have to sell as many monitors to make their margins back because reasons and money, but holy crap, I cannot believe monitors right now, gaming monitors on the flagship side are this pricey.
There's a lot of speculation too that the reason these monitors have taken so long to come out, I mean, part of it is the fabs that make the panels themselves. The fact that these 2 monitors have the exact same specs when it comes to resolution and color depth and everything indicates to me that they're probably sourced, the panels are probably sourced from the same fab. But there's also the ability to drive a game at 4K, 144 hertz, which
Wasn't
really
previously
like
possible.
there have been no massive updates in GPUs for
Yeah.
the past year and a half since 1080 Ti came out.
Right.
So there have been no great improvements in the ability to push this number of pixels at this refresh rate. So yeah, just the fact that nobody has a system that can effectively make use of these monitors
Right.
means that they're probably not looking at a huge base of customers who are ready to drop $3,000 on something like this. So,
Yeah. But at the very least, you would be sort of guaranteed that, I mean, a monitor like this would last you years to come, I would imagine.
I'd hope
Because
so.
it would be ready for the next and even like future generations of GPUs that would be able to push that many pixels at that refresh rate or that frame rate. So, it's sort of the, how early of an adopter do you really want to be? If you hop onto the bandwagon right now, then sure, you're one of the first to get it, but you might not be able to fully utilize it until a couple of years down the line when GPUs can actually keep up with these demands. But it is kind of a, that's what PC gaming's all about, is pushing the envelope forward, and sometimes, having so much performance that we even, more performance than we're ready for at times. But, it kind of comes with the territory when you're talking about PC gaming. But let's move on here. Very exciting stuff. Black Shark. The Black Shark is being teased. It's a brand new gaming phone from, it's a sort of a sister, no, not a sister company, but a smaller company from Xiaomi. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Where?
Xiaomi subsidiary. It's a
Xiaomi?
Xiaomi subsidiary. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Black Shark.
Looks like Razer.
It does. It's very much like the black and green sort of highlighted, edgy gameristic aesthetic.
Okay.
But this company just teased their brand new gaming phone right ahead of their April 13th launch, which is in 3 days. So later this week, this will be launching officially. The images that they've posted, not this one, but the ones above it, the teaser images, sort of hint at a Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor at the core of all this. The media has been reporting that we're going to get 8 gigabytes of RAM, a tall OLED screen with fingerprint scanner just under the screen, dual rear cameras with flash built in. GSM Arena shared the first live picture of the phone, which is what you saw down below, that has a sort of snap-on back cover, which is thought. So this is the back of the phone. We don't know what the other side of the phone looks like, and most people are speculating that the front of the phone that you don't see here is actually going to have some buttons, a button array, and some joysticks, maybe a joystick or two, for efficient gaming purposes. So you could actually use this as a handheld gaming device.
Is that what this is supposed to be?
I think so. Which doesn't that look very much like a Joy-Con? It looks almost exactly like a Joy-Con.
This looks like part of the
Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch.
Exactly. Yeah, the Joy-Con of the Nintendo Switch,
okay.
Which looks So I'm not sure if it's going to be compatible with a Joy-Con or if it's just coincidentally similar in design to one of those Nintendo controllers. But at any rate, this should be a one of the few hardcore mobile gaming phones on the market, apart from the Razer phone that we've seen as of late last year.
Okay.
So keep your eye on that. Should be kind of interesting to see how it unfolds. Moving on here, we've got an article from Hexus.net about Intel. Intel and their GPU that they're working on with Raja Kaduri. Actually, the Motley Fool analyst, Ashraf Yassa, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, he tweeted that Raja Kaduri, who used to work for AMD but then quit and started working for Intel, they're one of their biggest competitors, pretty interesting, that Raja plans to redefine the company's Arctic Sound GPU, which is Intel's very first discrete GPU. Yes, if you didn't hear, this has been announced already, and we've talked about this on the show previously. Intel is launching a discrete GPU, but up until now, it's just been word that this GPU is really going to have a focus or an emphasis on video streaming. But now we're learning that Raja is trying to redefine the Arctic Sound GPU to be powerful enough to handle a gaming environment and workload. So Intel gaming GPUs
look at this Intel
might happen.
Discrete graphics card.
That's an old school
one.
This
is revolutionary. This interface down here.
No, that's years and years old, Paul. It's an Intel 740 chip.
This is the new accelerated graphics port interface.
No, fake news.
AGP.
Fake news, Paul.
It's being introduced. I've heard
You're spreading cancer among the internet.
I've heard it's way faster than PCI Express.
You're wrong. Everything you just said is wrong.
It's got a VGA port.
Look at the PCI Express. It's got a VGA port. Look at the PCIe slot. It's like hardly
there's
4x.
There's a resurgence of analog output graphics cards. People like that natural color reproduction.
The D-sub will prevail.
It's like using a tube amp. You know, it's got this warm warm feel.
We're using a ribbon style microphone.
Yep.
just can't compete. So guys, don't get too excited immediately. This is gonna launch probably in 2020. This will be Intel's 12th gen graphics architecture that we may not see for the next few years. But it's kind of exciting that in a world currently, or in a market currently that has slim pickings for GPUs that are readily affordable, that we do have some more competition coming in the market for gaming GPUs. So very exciting stuff there. And then let's move on to our next article from WCCF Tech about the RX 560X. This is the AMD Radeon card, or Polaris refresh card, that was spotted recently on 3D Mark's database via Overclock 3D. They were the ones who found it first, according to the article. And the actual RX 560X was particularly found inside of an Acer laptop that was paired with a Ryzen 5 2500, which indicates that this GPU is aimed at the mobile market, at least for now, and features the same specs as the card it's replacing, which is the RX 560. Now, the RX 560, as we all know, was the successor to the RX 460. So this is kind of like a rebrand of a rebrand. It's like rebrandception, or refreshception, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, AMD just seems to be rinse and repeating this particular type of GPU. The RX 560X.
It's not uncommon for AMD to rebrand their GPU lines
not uncommon
2 or 3 times.
Yes, and you know, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, cool, new GPU." Not really, kind of, sort of. The RX 560 is going to be sporting the Polaris 21 GPU, and it's going to feature slight clock speed gains and efficiency improvements over its successor. The RX 500X cards have not yet officially been announced by AMD. This has just sort of been what's been discovered and looked at from other resources. It's going to be launching soon, however, as an annual refresh to Team Red's graphics lineup. The new family will be the third to feature the Polaris architecture that's been used in the Radeon, as I mentioned before, the RX 400 and RX 500 non-X series. The clock speed is 73 megahertz higher than the RX 560M, the mobile 560, putting it at around 1275 megahertz. It still has 1024 cores, 4 gigs of GDDR5 on a 128-bit memory interface. And that's, of course, with a 1202 megahertz clock speed.
If I have an issue with this, it's just that they take a pretty standard progression of a mobile branding, 460M updated to 560M. Now it's a 560X, which seems like the product name of a discrete graphics card.
It really does, and it's kind of deceiving, right?
But it's not. But that's not what it is. So
yeah, they should call it the 560XM.
Yeah,
there should always be an M.
Keep a mobile in there if it's made for mobile.
Because now people who don't really know better are going to buy a 560X laptop, for example, thinking that it has a fully desktop-sized or desktop model GPU in there, when it's really just a mobile chip.
Exactly.
And that
it's deceptive.
That's very deceptive. So always check the benchmarks first before you buy something like that. But that's all for that article. And moving on, we have our last piece here from Ars Technica about a mysterious Google-branded 4K Android TV dongle that showed up at the FCC. The FCC sort of showed this to us earlier. It's an HDMI dongle that runs Android TV. It comes with a remote. Kind of looks like a next-gen Chromecast or something like that. Kind of like a Fire TV stick from Amazon. Kind of like a competitor to that. We have no information on it other than what's been revealed in the manual of this product that says it's featuring a quad-core Amlogic S905X SoC and 2 gigs of RAM with 8 gigs of storage. It also says in the manual, that it supports hardware decoding at 4K 60 frames per second from H.265 and Google's very own in-house VP9 codec. There's no mention of HDR support in the manual. However, other manufacturers have already claimed that it does support HDR10, which is sort of the most common HDR spec / standard that we have on hand at the moment. The remote itself has a pretty conventional layout, all the buttons that you might expect for a device like this, including the Google Assistant button, so you probably have some voice recognition there. There might be a microphone built into the remote, we're not sure. And right now, the only other specifically Google-branded Android TV device that we have currently is the weak-ass Nexus player. The Nexus player was known for, definitely had some ups and downs. It was known for being slightly underpowered and left something to be desired in the performance realm. But, hopefully this device is going to replace that one in terms of being the flagship Android TV sort of portable device. I think Google I/O, the Google I/O event is next month, which I've never been to a Google I/O. I'm sure it's fun.
Googleo.
Maybe one day
That's what
Google
I
will
want to
invite
pronounce
me.
it phonetically.
Googleo.
Googleo.
Perhaps at Googleo, we will hear more about this mysterious Android TV device.
So I've never used Android TV, and I've never used a Chromecast. What's the difference between an Android TV device?
Android TV, it's its own UI. To my understanding, an Android TV platform is its own UI. It's its own sort of like mini operating system, whereas a Chromecast is more. You're just sort of windowing content from your mobile device to your TV.
Okay.
It's just sort of like a window that you're able to.
Relay.
Exactly, you're just relaying it. Whereas Android TV is sort of like, maybe is that what the NVIDIA Shield uses?
Shield is an Android based.
Android based, but it's not Android TV, right? I always forget what Android Shield's running. I don't know if it would make sense if it was Android TV.
I still don't fully comprehend what all Android TV is. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Paul and I are both, for the most part, cord cutters. We don't watch too much TV and deal with many TV-related apps.
We go to like the website.
Yeah,
we usually.
I'll just go straight there too.
We stream from Amazon Prime
Netflix.
or Netflix or HBO Go.
HBO Go, yeah.
Or we've got the TV tuner that we go to.
You can get HBO. You can have an HBO subscription through Amazon too now. Did you know that? HBO, Showtime, all that shit. You can just have it all through Amazon now. Fucking geniuses. Fewer sites you have to visit.
I have an Amazon Prime too, and I can like subscribe to a Twitch thing, but I haven't done that either.
Yeah, Twitch Prime and all that jazz.
I should.
So maybe we'll take a look at one of these googly devices on our channels relatively soon, depending on if they're even worth it. But for now, that concludes.
Just from chat, Shield can do Android TV functionality. Many people saying that. Thank you, chat.
Thanks, chat,
for confirming that.
So yeah, very different than Google Chromecast, which is just sort of reliant on your mobile device's interface.
Okay.
Windowing content.
Good to know.
All right, let's talk about some donations here. Let's take your questions. Thank you very much, Sel, for curating the list here. Abstract, once again, thank you so much for the $100 donation. You are a freaking boss. I cannot support what you guys do. You disgust me. You guys only make me semi-erect. Sort of a beep.
It's not like Ramrod straight, but it's not just drooping down.
One of these days, Abstract, I will turn your frown upside down.
I mean, this is a veiled...
Don't tell my wife.
This is a veiled compliment, though. Obviously, he has a love-hate relationship with us.
He does.
Like, you disgust me. But, like, he can't stop watching, right?
Yeah.
It's like a guilty pleasure. That's the feeling I'm getting.
You've got problems, Abstract. You should probably see a therapist.
But definitely...
Continue giving us...
Come back next week.
Yeah. We'd love to have you back. Master of Pinks. $5. Next time they need to send you corked beers for added entertainment. Just saying, no. Terrible idea. Stop giving the audience.
I have corked beers lined up for next week.
Then you can open all of them. Also, thanks for all you guys do.
You're welcome. Thank you, Master of
You're
Things.
welcome. Anytime, bro. Bazinga X, $10. Here's your money. Will not be able to watch the whole show. Took a fall down the steps and need to take meds and go to bed.
Oh.
Whoa, it sounds like a topsy-turvy event
I hope
for
the
evening.
meds were effective. I hope you slept well.
Yep, I'll watch the show tomorrow. You guys are great.
And I wish you a glorious day today. Since you're watching this tomorrow, it's today for you. It's the future.
Welcome.
Thank you, Bazinga X.
Welcome to the future. Irish H, $5. With the move to 4K monitors, have you heard any rumors that DRM will allow streaming content to go to 1080p for browsers besides Internet Explorer? I have not heard anything like that, to be honest.
It's primarily a Netflix thing, and I've only barely interacted with that at this point.
Yeah.
So I need to
I
look
can't say
into
for
that
sure.
more for better than 1080p streaming content.
Right.
Because yeah, it will be a question as 4K monitors, and especially 4K TVs. 4K TVs are very reasonably priced now, as long as you don't need OLED.
Yeah.
El Jefe reviews.
$5.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? USB 3.1 Type-C expansion cards. Worthwhile to speed up large file transfers from Galaxy S9 or Pixel 2. Cheers, guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. The one thing I'd be concerned with is what the actual maximum transfer rate available is on your phone itself. Right? Because if your phone can't deliver those throughput speeds, then no amount of connectivity
What's the read speed of the internal memory on your phone?
Exactly, yeah.
I would expect it to be faster than the.
Do you think it's 10 gigabits per second?
No, probably not.
So maybe USB 3.1 Gen 1, but I don't know about Gen 2 if that would actually make a difference. That'd be a good video.
I would expect it to have roughly the same read-write speeds as like a solid
USB 3.
SSD. So maybe in the 400 to 600 megabytes per second range. So
I've always had very slow transfer speeds with dumping files from my phone.
yeah.
Even for my Pixel first gen. I haven't really done it too much with my second gen.
It's also
but
something
it's probably around the same.
I haven't really seen much like hands-on testing with, like
Yeah.
taking different phones and seeing what their maximum
Right.
copy off of transfer rate is.
True.
But that's kind of a niche thing, I guess. But yeah, I
Worth
mean,
testing out.
El Jefe, to get back to the fundamental, the essence of your question, if I will, that's the nice thing about building your own computer and building, say, a full-size computer with some expansion slots is maybe when you built your computer, you only had USB 3.0, paltry 5 gigabits per second, and now you can probably drop into one of your PCI Express slots an expansion card and upgrade yourself to the new standard. So, yeah.
Let us know what you find, man. I'd be curious to know myself. Trononics Gaming, $20.
Tronoxis.
Sorry, I cannot read
Tronoxis.
words. Tronoxis Gaming, $20, no comment. Thank you very much, Tronoxis. I appreciate that. The Junkman, 1991, $5. What GTX 1080 or what 1080 should I get for my next build? The Asus 1080 8GB ROG Strix or the Gigabyte GTX 1080 8GB G1 Gaming? You can't go wrong either way, man. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're going to be happy with either of those cards. They've been very well reviewed.
Choose which one you think
which one
looks
looks pretty?
better.
Yeah.
Secondly, like, if you already have an Asus Strix motherboard, then getting that graphics card might make them aesthetically match a bit better, and you could also use the Asus Aura software to control the RGB lighting on all of them at the same time.
Or if you have a Gigabyte board, you could use Aorus.
Yeah, same thing if you've got a Gigabyte motherboard, then maybe it might make sense to go with the Gigabyte graphics card so you can sync them up. But functionally,
You'll be fine.
it's
Either
not going to be much of a difference either way.
Yeah. Adam Alkire with the $10. Hey Kyle, so I live like right across the LM Center near your PO box, so I guess you live near it. Would love to meet you,
Mirada.
and I do photography. I would love to take some pictures for you and your social media. Well, that is very kind offer, Adam. I typically don't need too many pictures of me taken for social media. Usually a phone works just fine, and I feel like the more professional the photos, the less genuine or authentic they come across with on social media. It feels a bit more staged.
Adam, Cal's trying to say you're probably too good. You're probably way too good.
You're probably way too good for what I would need. I kind of like to keep things more personal, intimate, but I do appreciate the offer. If you ever see me roaming around the streets of good old LM, give me a shout out. Come up to me, say hi. Maybe we'll do a photo shoot on the spot.
Adam follows up with another $5 donation and said, "Kyle, notice the YouTube dudes. All these homies be popping in chat." What's that mean? What does that mean?
I feel like I'm too old to understand that language now.
How does that?
Notice the YouTube dudes. All these homies be popping in chat.
Homies are friends.
It's probably a
Friends or
photography term.
popping, like taking pictures?
We're popping in chat. We're taking screenshots maybe.
Or like popcorn.
Yeah.
I could go for some popcorn.
We're enjoying a bucket of popcorn with some friends. Notice the YouTube dudes.
I agree.
Yeah. Everything you said makes sense. Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very, very much.
I like Adam.
Kitsune Mayo. Me too. $10. Hey, quick question. Any advice for a really large mouse? Razer Naga is about 3 inches too short and causes constant cramping. Bonus points for side buttons, the more the better. Oh.
A large mouse?
I already know.
Kyle knows this.
It's the Spada. The ROG Spada is a wireless Asus ROG mouse that is the biggest mouse that I've ever handled in the last 2 years at least. It is huge. I have average size hands, I would say, and it's way too big for me. So maybe look into that. It's wireless, so that might not be your thing, understandably so, but it's worth checking out if you just have some OG man hands that you can't find a good home for at the moment. I don't really have any other recommendations for a large mouse.
I don't either. I was glad that you had one.
Yeah, it is a freakishly big mouse. All right, let's move on to the next guy. Titan Heel Bar H, $20. Greetings, Newegg fam.
Yo.
Wow. Hey, that's our slave name. WH Warehouse 1 is still where the call center is at. Lots of agents love using gaming peripherals for work, myself included. Rocking Logitech G700 and a Corsair K70 Lux RGB keyboard. Try
Nice.
Lagunitas Waldo's Special Ale. Haven't tried that one yet. I'll keep an eye out for it. The Corsair K70 Lux is a very nice keyboard. That's the silver one with the white keycaps. Very rare. Hard to find in the US here. So I guess you work at Warehouse 1 or at least at Newegg, so awesome. Yeah, you are technically part of our old family. So
When I worked at
we're all
Warehouse
friends.
1, we would at lunchtime we would get lunch, like a to-go or box lunch or whatever,
Mhm.
and we'd drive up into the cemetery.
Ooh, that's creepy.
I know that sounds kind of
Why
dark.
the fuck would you do that?
Because the Whittier, what's the cemetery called right there? Damn it. Why am I blanking on the name of the cemetery? You know what it's called?
Evil Grove. Evil Grove tombstones.
It's a cemetery. It's on a hill. It goes up the hill, and it's a hill that looks over like Los Angeles.
Hillcrest corpses.
Wow.
Is it in Cerritos?
No, it's in Whittier.
Whittier?
Jeez. Hold
The
on.
Whittier, shittier pine forest of dead people.
It's not. What?
Am I close?
No, you're not close
A
at
little
all.
warm.
Hold on. There's Rose Hills.
The decomposing body storage in central.
There's Workman Mill.
I don't
Baseball
fucking know.
field.
All right, I'm gonna keep going while you look at
keep
that.
going.
Andrew Schweier, thanks for the suggestions, but I may go for Loke Ghost S1 MK Mark II due to wanting liquid cooling. Paul, my PC has to be on the floor because I have a small desk. Sorry. Get a bigger desk. There's no excuse.
Or just get something else that's not your desk to put your computer on.
Get an extension of
It's
your
okay.
desk. Do it. Thank you very much for the 5 Canadiers, Andrew, and good luck at rescuing your PC from the ground. Medieval Gamer, 5 Australiers, what's your opinion on the new 3-fan... Oh, 3-fan...
Rose Hills.
Rose Hills, that's what I was going to say next.
Yeah.
Medieval Gamer, 5 Australians, what's your opinion on the new 3-fan Kraken by NZXT? I have not checked it out yet. Maybe I'll do a video on it on the channel sometime soon. It must be a 360, I would imagine. But the other NZXT coolers have been doing really good. The Krakens, I'm very happy with them. So I would imagine that the 3-fan is not too different, but I can't really speak until I test it myself. Adam Alkire, once again, $5. Oh yeah, love the content and you and the channel. Hope you had a good time at PAX East. I had an amazing time at PAX East. It was super fun. Got to meet a lot of you guys, actually. Thank you all for coming up and saying hi. I know you guys can be shy sometimes.
Did you guys get snowed on or anything?
There was some snow
Was it?
on Friday. It did snow for like a couple hours, but it was really light snow, so it would just melt as soon as it hit the floor.
That's
it wasn't
good.
like building up or anything, but it was really nice, just like seeing snow in Boston. It was like, ooh, it's so nice and magical and stuff. But fortunately, we were inside the convention at that point, just looking out the glass panels,
Nice.
so it wasn't too cold.
I should try to go to PAX East next year.
Yeah, we should hit it up. Maybe we
haven't
can all be
gone
on the
since
panel.
I used to go with Newegg, but I always liked it. I always thought it was a really good crowd at PAX East.
Yeah, it has that sort of nice, fun, young energy. There's a lot like more younger people at PAX East than like Computex or CES. So like gets you all pumped up and stuff. Like I'm all energized and shit. I've got oodles and oodles of energy to burn here. But
Thank you, Token
the
Bombs,
panel
Rose Hills.
was super
You're
cool.
right.
Thank you very much. Next up, we've got Braden Turner. $5. What is your guys' thought on Mozilla Reality? Just Google it. It's virtual reality in Firefox. Will it be a success or fail? We actually just covered this in the last episode of Awesome Hardware. I think it was on my half. And yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're looking to browse the internet in VR with a headset, then that's exactly what this is tailored for. And I haven't tried it out personally, obviously, but I think that it's the direction that we're headed. Some people are super into VR and they want to do every single thing imaginable within that ecosystem. And I think, Firefox isn't wrong for Mozilla isn't wrong for trying to capitalize on that. I have to try it firsthand to really be sure if it's good or not. But I think VR and the various applications surrounding it are still very much in their infancy. So it might be a while until the browser experience is perfected. I think browsering or web browsing in VR with a headset is very difficult because there's a lot of little links and little text that you have to read and click on that can be difficult. Especially when the resolution for a lot of headsets, even like the HTC Vive Pro, while it's been much improved upon in the last couple of years, isn't quite fine enough to what you would see on a regular desktop monitor or a laptop screen to really be super precise and allow you to click on those things very easily. So I think it's going to take some time, maybe several years, until the browser experience is polished enough to warrant more mainstream use. But I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for that niche of user. Matic Ogden for the $7.40 or 7.47 New Zealand cents. New Zealand bucks. Awesome show as always, guys. Have a 1080 Ti with a 7600K at 5 gigahertz. Is it worth going to the 8700K?
No.
Probably not. No. Sorry I didn't catch your side live, Paul. I have to try harder in the future. Try harder, Matic. Try harder.
I was initially disappointed, but I can see that your heart is in the right place. So I forgive you, and in the future you can do better.
I never forgive you. Adam Elkar, $5. Kyle, you should be so cool and amazing and do a subscriber build, me being first. So yeah, I live like the zip code next to you.
There you go.
That's really creepy.
Why don't you build Adam a computer, Kyle?
Maybe I will.
What a dick.
Paul, maybe I will. A fan built computer. I'm sure that would do well. Maybe I'll do it just for the views. That's all I care about.
Copy Ed.
Copy Ed.
Titan Heel Bar
Titan Heel Bar
H.
$10.
Cemetery is called Rose Hills. Titan Heel Bar, you didn't need to donate $10. We discovered that, but thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So Rose Hills. If you don't mind being amongst
dead people,
the deceased, nice place to drive up and chill and eat your lunch. It never bothered me.
It's very demented.
Cause like
How morbid of you, Paul.
if it's mid-afternoon, like you get this really nice view over like LA. You can see downtown and
of the graveyards
and all the spirits rising up to condemn you for enjoying your lunch while
sounds horrifying.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, death is a part of life, Kyle.
I understand, but I want to eat next to it.
You're just taunting them. You're like, look, haha, this
tasting
food I'm
stuff.
eating sure is good.
It's so great to be alive.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet you miss bologna sandwiches, dead person. Ha.
I've never eaten a bologna sandwich. Brown Boy 3.7,
Hey.
$5. I had a Ryzen 1600. I overclocked to 3.7 gigahertz, and I noticed I was losing frame rates. Any reason why that happens? Brown Boy 3.7. chances are your Ryzen 1600 has the feature called XFR, Extended Frequency Range, which means that for one or two of the cores or threads on the processor, it can actually overclock beyond even the base and boost clock that are listed by the manufacturer, like out of the box. So whereas you might be overclocking all of your cores to 3.7 gigahertz without doing any overclocking and just leaving everything at the base out of the box frequency, you might get XFR speeds on one or two cores that are, say, 3.8 or 3.9 gigahertz. And the video games that you're playing are probably more susceptible to that higher frequency on one or two cores than they are with the slightly lower frequency across all the cores. So it's definitely been my experience with Ryzen processors that overclocking and seeing what you can get on all cores is useful, but often it's the case that just leaving things at stock and going with the XFR speeds for a couple cores will get you better performance while you're gaming.
Do some testing.
That'd be my guess.
A/B comparisons are the best bet. And then finally we have Kitsunemo. Once again, $5. Surprised you got the name right. Anyway, the mouse has an optional wired mode. I think this is the same guy who asked about the about a large mouse recommendation.
Oh yeah.
I did recommend him the Asus ROG Spava. So there you go. Yeah, you got a wired option too. Excuse me. So that yeah, you have much less latency that way.
All right, we have a final donation before we move on to our emails. Sierra in Roxburgh with $10 Canadian. Hey guys, I'm looking to build a high-tier PC this summer. The only downfall, a $1,300 1080 Ti. Should I wait for a price drop? No rush other than my fingers melting from the heat of my gaming laptop. I would wait.
Yeah.
1080 Ti is supposed to be $500 less than that.
Yeah.
And it's a reasonable guess that we might see GPU prices drop in the next couple months.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're okay as is, then it's worth your while to wait a little bit.
Look for a used deal online too. That might help you out.
Okay.
Okay. Last but not least, this is the last message. Don't donate anymore, anyone. We're way over time. Adam Alkire for the $5. Look for my message on Insta and Twitter. We can figure this out, and I was going to send something to your P.O. box. I just want to see. Feel free to send anything you'd like to either of our P.O. boxes. I have mine in the video description of any of my YouTube videos. Paul, you have yours somewhere listed.
It's also in all of my descriptions.
On his descriptions as well. And we may potentially unbox it on a future episode of Awesome Hardware. And then we do have some Johnson shoutouts to call out before we close out things. I only have a few.
I've got a Johnson shout out to the Gordon family from New York.
Hey.
There's two different first names. So I'm going to say the Gordons. The Gordons from New York got the black tri-blend shirt.
The Gordons.
Thank you. And Johnson to you guys.
I have a purchase from a Jesse James Black, and I really hope that's your real name because that's the most badass name I've ever heard. That's a pretty badass name. CPU cooler shirt. Thank you, Jesse James Black.
You should be a country singer.
And a cowboy.
Tom M. from Minnesota got the metallic silver heather charcoal lightweight zipper hoodie, as well as the Star Wars shirt, the Awesome Hardware shirt.
A CPU cooler navy blue t-shirt goes to Matthew Willis. Sir, a Johnson to you and yours.
Josue G. from California got the beer set. Johnson to you, Josue.
CPU cooler heather navy t-shirt, Samuel Young. Thank you, Samuel Johnson.
And a final Johnson from me to Peter from Pennsylvania. Got the metallic silver tri-blend shirt. Just getting those while they're hot. Limited edition, of course.
Double Johnson for Peter.
Double Johnson, Peter.
From Pennsylvania. Thank you for picking up a Beware of Bottlenecks dark gray heather t-shirt, Peter. And that is going to conclude it for episode 146 of Awesome Hardware. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast, as always. Do we have a Twitch raid sell? By the way, huge shout out to our good friend and moderator, Cell Processing, for moderating this stupid show every single week. We do have a raid shout out. This time it's going to be for Texter 435.
So if you're watching live and you want something to do now that we're going to end our stream, go to twitch.tv/ Texter435. That's TECHSTER.
Do it.
435.
Yep.
Tell them that we sent you. Tell them that you're rating Texter435 from Awesome Hardware.
Raid the shit out of him.
Texter currently has how many viewers?
He has 2.
He has two
viewers.
2 viewers right now. So,
Blow his freaking mind.
Let's see what we can do there. Thanks for watching. If you
for
want
the
to do
reaction.
timestamps in the future in the comment section, please do so, and we love you for that. Thumbs up, of course. We'll be back next week with another episode of Awesome Hardware, and we will both have super awesome videos in the meantime. So subscribe to our YouTube channels.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.